Welcome to English with Kevin. Today we practice our English with some tips on how to improve your listening through stories in English. In an increasingly globalized world, mastering English has become a fundamental necessity. However, many students face the difficulty of achieving fluency and comprehension in the language. One of the most powerful and often underestimated tools in language learning is active listening. This book explores the importance of listening in English as a key component to accelerate the learning process. Through a series of chapters, we will discuss how listening not only improves oral comprehension, but also enriches vocabulary and pronunciation. Active listening allows learners to connect more deeply with the language. When we listen, we absorb not just words, but also nuances, accents, and the musicality of the language. This skill is crucial because it helps us understand how English is used in different contexts, from everyday conversations to more formal situations. Throughout this book, we will see how regular practice of listening can transform your learning experience and provide you with a significant advantage on your path to fluency. The goal of this book is to provide practical strategies and accessible resources that facilitate the integration of listening into your daily routine. Each chapter offers a unique perspective on how to maximize the potential of listening, as well as concrete examples you can apply immediately. We invite you to maintain an open mindset and commit to the process. The transformation you will experience by listening to English will surprise you. In the following sections, we will explore the relationship between listening and the development of language skills, differentiating between active and passive listening. We will also present various audio sources that you can use and give you tips on how to integrate listening into your daily life. Finally, we will address how to overcome barriers that may arise when listening in a foreign language. This journey will not only lead you to improve your English, but also open doors to new cultures and experiences. We hope that by the end of this book, you will feel motivated and equipped to make listening a fundamental part of your learning. The key to success lies in consistent practice and finding joy in the learning process. Let's get started. Chapter: The importance of listening in language learning. Listening is a fundamental skill in learning any language, and English is no exception. When we listen, we are exposed to a variety of linguistic contexts that enrich our understanding. Active listening allows us to grasp not just the words, but also the intentions and emotions behind them. This is crucial for understanding communication in its entirety, as verbal language is complemented by nonverbal signals. Through listening, we begin to form a mental map of the language, where each word and expression has its place. Moreover, listening helps develop pronunciation and accent. When we are exposed to native speakers, our brains begin to imitate patterns of sound and intonation. This imitation is essential, as it allows us to sound more natural when speaking. Without the practice of listening, it is easy to develop incorrect pronunciation habits that can be difficult to correct later on. The key is to listen attentively and try to replicate what we hear, paying special attention to details. Listening also plays a crucial role in building vocabulary. By listening in English, we have the opportunity to learn new words in context. This is much more effective than simply memorizing word lists. When we hear a word in conversation, we can better understand its meaning and usage in real situations. This connection between word and context facilitates long-term retention and helps us use vocabulary more effectively in our own conversations. Another important aspect of listening is its influence on confidence when speaking. Many students feel anxious when they have to speak in English due to a lack of exposure to the language. Regular listening helps them become familiar with different accents and styles of conversation, which in turn reduces the fear of making mistakes. The more we listen, the more prepared we feel to engage in conversations. Confidence is key in language learning, and the practice of listening contributes greatly to developing this confidence. Finally, it is essential to recognize that listening is not an isolated skill, but interacts with other linguistic competencies. Reading, writing, and conversation are enriched by a good foundation of listening. By improving our ability to listen, we are laying the groundwork to become more effective communicators in English. In this chapter, we have explored how listening is fundamental to learning English, but there is still more to discover about how to make the most of this skill. Chapter: Active listening versus passive listening. The difference between active and passive listening is fundamental to understanding how to maximize our learning of English. Passive listening occurs when we simply hear words without paying attention to their meaning or context. For example, having background music while doing another activity is a classic example of passive listening. While this can be relaxing, it does not effectively contribute to our learning. Passive listening does not help us develop critical skills, such as oral comprehension or pronunciation, since we are not truly engaged with the content. On the other hand, active listening requires attention and concentration. It involves not only hearing the words, but also processing and analyzing what we hear. When practicing active listening, we are in a better position to ask questions, take notes, and reflect on the content. A useful strategy is to pause the recording of a podcast or video to mentally summarize what we have listened to. This kind of active reflection helps us retain the information better and make meaningful connections with what we learn. Strategies for improving active listening are varied. One of the most effective is to repeat aloud what we hear. This not only improves our pronunciation, but also allows us to fix vocabulary better in our memory. Another technique is to listen to material in short segments and then try to summarize what we understood. This practice not only reinforces our comprehension, but also prepares us to engage in conversations in real situations. Moreover, active listening has long-term benefits that extend beyond vocabulary and grammar learning. By actively engaging with content, we develop critical thinking skills that are essential in any language. The ability to analyze and critique what we hear makes us more autonomous and effective learners. As our listening becomes more active, we also improve our capacity to participate in discussions and debates, enriching our interactions in English. Finally, it is important to remember that both active and passive listening have their place in language learning. However, by focusing on active listening, we can accelerate our progress and deepen our connection with the language. In this chapter, we have explored the difference between these two types of listening and how practicing active listening can transform our learning of English. Chapter: Sources of Listening in English. In the digital age, sources of listening in English are more abundant than ever. From podcasts and audiobooks to series and movies, there is a wealth of resources available that can facilitate language learning. Podcasts are an excellent option because they offer a wide variety of topics and conversation styles. You can find podcasts that focus on specific interests, which will not only keep you motivated, but also make the content more relevant to you. Listening to native speakers discussing topics you are passionate about will help you learn new vocabulary in a meaningful context. Audiobooks are another valuable source. They allow you to enjoy stories in English while hearing the correct pronunciation of words. By choosing a book you already know in your native language, you can focus more on listening since you are already familiar with the plot. This will enable you to enjoy the narrative while simultaneously improving your listening comprehension. Many library services and apps offer free audiobooks, making it easy to find options that suit your level. Series and movies are also powerful tools for improving listening skills. Watching audiovisual content in English allows you to hear different accents and conversation styles. Furthermore, by combining listening with visualization, you can grasp the context of situations, which facilitates understanding. A useful technique is to turn on English subtitles to follow along with the dialogue while listening. This not only helps reinforce the connection between spoken and written words, but also allows you to learn new expressions and slang. It is crucial to choose content that fits your level of English. If the material is too advanced, you may feel frustrated and demotivated. Conversely, if it is too simple, it may not provide the challenge necessary for growth. Look for resources that challenge you, but are also accessible. As you progress in your learning, you can explore more complex and diversified material. Finally, remember that variety is key. Alternating between different types of resources will keep you engaged and make practice more enjoyable. Don't hesitate to experiment with different formats and styles. At the end of the day, the goal is to enjoy the learning process and make listening in English an integral part of your daily routine. In this chapter, we have discussed various sources of listening and how to use them effectively to improve your English. Chapter: Integrating listening into your daily routine. Integrating listening into your daily routine may seem challenging, but it is easier than it appears. The first step is to identify moments in your day when you can naturally incorporate listening. For example, during your commute to work or school, you can listen to a podcast or an audiobook. This not only makes use of time that might otherwise be wasted, but also transforms those moments into learning opportunities. By making listening a regular part of your day, you will be exposed to the language more and, therefore, continuously improving. Consistency is key to success in learning a new language. Establishing a specific schedule for practicing listening can help keep you on track. You can start by dedicating 10 to 15 minutes each day, and as you become more comfortable, increase that time. Repetition is a powerful tool. Listening to the same material multiple times can help you catch details that you initially missed. Familiarity with the content will also allow you to focus more on comprehension and vocabulary. Another effective strategy is to combine listening with other activities. For example, you can listen to English while exercising, cooking, or cleaning. This not only allows you to maximize your time, but also associates language learning with positive experiences. The key is to make listening a pleasurable part of your daily life rather than a chore you feel you have to complete. Additionally, don't forget the importance of reflection after listening. Take a moment to mentally summarize what you have learned. You might keep a learning journal where you note down new words or phrases you have heard. This practice not only reinforces your memory, but also helps you use that new vocabulary in future conversations. Reflection is a way to consolidate learning and ensure that information sticks in your mind. Finally, remember that every small effort counts. Integrating listening into your routine doesn't require major changes. It just needs consistent commitment. As you see progress, you will feel more motivated to keep practicing. This chapter has addressed how to make listening a regular component of your life. And with practice, you will soon notice the difference in your understanding and fluency in English. Conclusion. Throughout this book, we have explored the importance of listening in learning English and how it can be a fundamental tool for accelerating your progress. Active listening, in particular, has been highlighted as a key strategy for developing language skills, improving pronunciation, and increasing confidence when speaking. By integrating listening into your daily routine, you can enrich your learning experience and discover a world full of opportunities. Remember that the journey to fluency in English is an ongoing process. Every moment you dedicate to listening brings you one step closer to your goals. Whether through podcasts, audiobooks, series, or informal conversations, each listening experience offers the opportunity to learn and grow. The key is to maintain a positive attitude and an active approach to your learning. You may face challenges along the way, such as difficulties with accents or speaking speed. However, with patience and consistent practice, you can overcome these barriers and feel increasingly comfortable with the language. Don't hesitate to explore different resources and experiment with new ways to integrate listening into your daily life. Variety and adaptability are essential to keeping interest and motivation alive. Finally, we encourage you to reflect on your own learning journey. Write down your achievements and the new words and phrases you have acquired. Share your experiences with other learners or native speakers, as this will not only enrich your learning, but also provide valuable practice opportunities. Listening is an open door to new cultures, ideas, and human connections. We hope this book has provided you with useful tools and motivation to make listening a central part of your English learning. The journey may be challenging, but the results are worth it. Keep listening and enjoying the process of learning English.